Jack Miller stared out the viewport as the transport ship approached Nexus Prime. The space station gleamed like a silver spider web against the darkness of space, with ships of all shapes and sizes coming and going from its many docking bays. His heart beat fast in his chest. This would be his home for the next year. "First time off-world?" asked the blue-skinned woman sitting next to him. She had small ridges on her forehead and fingers that were too long to be human. Jack nodded. "First human from my town to be selected for the exchange program." "Impressive," she said, though her tone suggested otherwise. "Humans are still quite new to the galactic community." The transport ship docked with a gentle bump. Jack grabbed his single bag and followed the other passengers toward the exit. His mom had cried when he left Earth. "Be careful," she had told him. "Don't forget where you come from." At the time, he thought she was being dramatic. Now, surrounded by aliens of all shapes and sizes, he understood her concern. A holographic sign floated in the air. Galactic HFY Students. This way. Jack followed the arrow to a small group of beings who looked as lost as he felt. A tall, thin alien with gray skin and huge black eyes stood before them. "Welcome to Nexus Prime. I am Administrator Plex. You have been selected from 17 species for this prestigious opportunity." Plex's eyes lingered on Jack, some more unusual than others. Jack felt his face grow hot as the other students turned to look at him. "Your room assignments and class schedules have been sent to your personal devices. The academic term begins tomorrow." Dismissed. Jack checked his tablet and found his room number, Level 8, Section C, Room 42. He made his way through the station's winding corridors, trying to ignore the stares of passing aliens. Some looked almost human. Others were completely foreign, floating gas clouds contained in special suits, crystalline beings that clicked as they moved, creatures that seemed to be made of living metal. When Jack reached his room, the door slid open automatically. Inside, a four-armed being with purple skin was arranging objects on a shelf. Hello," Jack said. "I'm Jack Miller. I think we're roommates." The alien turned, all four of his yellow eyes blinking in sequence. A human. How fascinating. "I am Krell, third spawn of the Solaxian High Council." He extended his upper right arm. "This is the human greeting custom, yes, the hand clasping." Jack shook Krell's hand, which felt smooth and cool. "Yeah, a handshake. Nice to meet you. Your species is quite the topic of conversation," Krell said, returning to his unpacking. "Many students requested not to be paired with a human. Too unpredictable, they said." "Great," Jack muttered, tossing his bag onto the empty bed. "What about you? Did you request not to have a human roommate?" "The opposite. I asked specifically for one. My research focus is primitive cultures." Jack wasn't sure if he should be offended. "We're not primitive. We have space travel too." Of course," Krell said quickly. "Merely a technical classification. Your species only achieved faster than light travel, 60 Earth years ago. Most spacefaring races in the Academy have been exploring the stars for thousands of years." Before Jack could respond, his tablet beeped. A message appeared. "All new students report to the Grand Hall for orientation dinner." "We should go," Krell said. "The food synthesizers here are programmed with dishes from all represented worlds. You can even get Earth food, though I hear the pizza algorithm needs work." As they walked to the Grand Hall, Jack noticed groups of alien students whispering and pointing in his direction. In the hall itself, which was filled with hundreds of students, a clear space formed around him and Krell. "Why is everyone avoiding us?" Jack whispered. "Not us," Krell replied. "You. Humans have a certain reputation. Your planet is under partial quarantine for a reason, you know." "What reason?" Jack asked, but at that moment Administrator Plex appeared on a floating platform above the crowd, and the orientation began. Jack looked around the room at his alien classmates. Some looked bored, others excited, but when they glanced his way, he saw something else in their eyes. Jack's first week at the Galactic Academy was harder than he expected. The classes moved too fast, the technology confused him, and most of the alien students kept their distance. "Don't take it personally," Krell told him as they walked to the dining hall. "Humans have a reputation for being unpredictable. Many species find that scary." Jack watched as a group of jellyfish-like aliens floated past, their tentacles carefully avoiding him. "But we're not dangerous." Krell laughed, a strange bubbling sound. "Tell that to the Caxians. They sent a research team to Earth 300 years ago. None returned." Jack frowned. That was before humans even knew about aliens. "Exactly." Krell nodded all four of his eyes. Something else got them. In the dining hall, Jack sat alone until a small green creature slid into the seat across from him. Its body looked like a slug, but with tiny arms and a wide mouth. "You're the human," it said in a deep, rumbling voice that seemed too big for its body. "I'm Dorn, Glutani from the wet moons of Gal." Jack smiled. "Nice to meet you. I'm Jack. Mind if I try your food?" Dorn asked, eyeing Jack's sandwich. Sure." Dorn's mouth opened impossibly wide. He swallowed half the sandwich in one bite. "Not bad. Could use more slime." A soft chime sounded from nearby. A plant-like being with violet leaves for hair approached their table. Words appeared on a small screen on its chest. "May I join you? I am Vela. Florian from the forest world Chloris." "Of course," Jack said. Vela sat down. The screen displayed, "Others avoid you. Others avoid me too. Different reasons. You are dangerous. I am boring." Jack laughed. "I'm not dangerous. All Earth creatures dangerous." Vela's screen read, "Old Florian saying, 'Beware the blue planet's children.'" Dorn nodded. "My people say similar things. Earth is known as a death world. Even your plants can kill." "That's ridiculous," Jack said. "We have dangerous animals, sure, but—" "There you are." Krell appeared with another alien. This one had a body that seemed made of crystal, with light dancing inside it. "I want you to meet Xerix, luminary from the asteroid belt of Proxima 6. "Greetings, human," Xerix said, his voice musical and chiming. "I wish to study your species' relationship with electromagnetic radiation. Your eyes only see a tiny fraction of light, yes?" "I guess so," Jack said, feeling overwhelmed. Xerix sat down, his crystal body catching the light. "Fascinating limitation. How do you navigate with such primitive senses?" "We manage," Jack said, starting to feel annoyed with everyone calling humans primitive. "First class after lunch is comparative biology with Professor Eyes," Krell said, checking his tablet. "It's the only class where all four of us are together." "5, Dorn corrected, pointing at Vela. "I heard Professor Eyes actually visited Earth," Xerix whispered, light patterns shifting quickly inside his body. "One of the few non-humans to go there and return." Jack looked up. "Really?" "Yes," Krell said. "He's considered very brave." After lunch, they headed to the biology lab. Professor Eyes turned out to be a tall, insect-like alien with compound eyes and 4 arms. He spoke in clicks and buzzes that the translator turned into words. "Welcome, students," he said. "This term we study the biological adaptations of sentient species across the galaxy. Today we will examine defensive mechanisms." Iz clicked a button, and holographic images appeared above each desk. Jack saw creatures from different planets, some with poisonous spines, others with armored plates, some that could become invisible. "All life evolves to survive the dangers of its home world," Iz continued. "The more dangerous the world, the more impressive the adaptations." His compound eyes fixed on Jack. "Humans are of special interest. Their planet contains some of the most dangerous life forms known, yet they have no claws, no poison, no special defenses, just their minds and their strange ability to ignore danger. The class turned to stare at Jack. Is this true? A bird-like student chirped. Your world is full of predators. Jack shrugged. We have dangerous animals, but it's not like humans domesticated predators as pets. Is interrupted. They swim in oceans filled with toxic creatures. They climb mountains where the air is too thin to breathe. They are either the bravest or the most foolish species in the galaxy. Jack noticed something in Professor I's voice. Not fear exactly, but respect. For the first time since arriving at the academy, Jack felt a small sense of pride. Maybe being human wasn't so bad after all. Jack found himself looking forward to Professor I's class. It was the only one where he felt like being from Earth was an advantage and not a weakness. 2 weeks into the term, Iz made an announcement that changed everything. Students, the insect-like professor clicked and buzzed. Your main project this term will be to study a non-sentient species from another student's homeworld. You will work in pairs to research and present your findings. Excited chatter filled the room. Jack looked around nervously. Would anyone want to work with him? I have already assigned the pairs, Iz continued, silencing the class. When I call your names, please move to sit together. Jack listened as eyes went through the list. Krell was paired with a floating gas cloud named Blocks. Vela was assigned to work with Xerix. Dorn got a fish-like alien who looked unhappy about the arrangement. Jack Miller and Mira Len, Iz announced. Jack looked around and saw a blue-skinned girl with silver markings on her face frown. She was an Arcturian, one of the most advanced species in the galaxy. She was also one of the most popular students in class. Jack gathered his things and moved to sit beside her. Hi, I'm Jack. I know who you are, she said coldly. The human. And you're Mira, he said, trying to be friendly. Nice to meet you. She sighed. Let's just get this over with. I was hoping to be paired with someone more advanced. Jack bit back an angry response. He was getting tired of being treated like he was stupid just because he was human. Now, Professor I's said, each pair will draw a species at random from the database. Some will be predators, some prey, some neither. Your job is to understand how the species survives in its environment. One by one, pairs went to the front of the class to draw their assignment. When Jack and Mira's turn came, she let him go to the selection panel. Jack pressed his palm against the screen. It scanned his hand and flashed a message. Species illicitated. Hippopotamus, Earth. A holographic image appeared above the panel. A large gray animal standing in water. What is that? Mira asked when Jack returned to his seat. A hippopotamus, he said. It's from Earth. It looks boring, she said, studying the image. Just a big gray blob. Does it at least have laser eyes or acid spit? Jack shook his head. Nope, just a regular animal. Around them, other students were getting excited about their selections. One pair got a 6-headed snake from Rigel 9. Another got a crystal wolf from the diamond moons of Altair. Compared to those, a hippo did seem boring. What does it eat? Mira asked. Plants, mostly, Jack said. They spend a lot of time in water. Mira groaned. Great, we get the dull plant eater while everyone else gets cool predators. Jack opened his mouth to argue when he noticed Professor I's standing nearby. Listening to their conversation, the professor's compound eyes were fixed on the hippo hologram, and his mandibles were clicking rapidly. Is everything all right, Professor? Jack asked. Liz seemed to jump. Yes. Just interesting selection. The hippopotamus. Very interesting. It seems pretty boring to me, Mira said. Appearances can be deceiving, Iz replied, his voice strange, especially with Earth creatures. He quickly moved away to check on other students. What was that about? Mira wondered. Jack shrugged. No idea. But he felt curious now. Why would Professor I's act so strangely about a hippo? After class, Jack caught up with his friends. What did you get? Dorn asked. Hippopotamus, Jack said. It's an earth animal. Vella's screen lit up. Earth animal. Dangerous. Not really, Jack said. They eat plants. Krell looked thoughtful. I've never heard of it. Must not be one of Earth's famous predators. Famous predators? Jack asked. What do you mean? You know, Xerix chimed in, light patterns shifting. The creatures other species fear. Tigers, bears, sharks. Wait, Jack said. Other species fear earth animals. His friends stared at him. Of course, Dorn rumbled. Everyone knows Earth is filled with deadly creatures. It's why your planet is partly quarantined. Jack blinked in surprise. He had never thought of Earth animals as especially dangerous compared to what might exist on alien worlds. I need to research this hippopotamus, he said, suddenly feeling very curious. Good luck with Mira, Krell said. Arcturians can be difficult. Jack nodded, but his mind was elsewhere. Something about Professor Isa's reaction to the hippo bothered him. There was more to this assignment than he realized, and he was determined to find out what it was. Jack sat in the academy library, scrolling through information about hippopotamuses on his tablet. The more he read, the more confused he felt. Hippos were plant eaters that lived in rivers and lakes in Africa. They were big and heavy, but they didn't seem scary enough to make Professor Isa act so strangely. Find anything interesting? Mira asked, sliding into the seat across from him. She seemed less annoyed today. Not really, Jack said. Just basic stuff. Hippos weigh up to 3,000 kilograms. They spend most of their time in water. They eat grass. Mira sighed. Sounds thrilling. Meanwhile, Lox and Jivy are studying a creature that spits acid and can turn invisible. Jack nodded. He felt disappointed too. Then he remembered something. Wait, there was one interesting thing. Hippos can be dangerous to humans. They kill about 500 people a year in Africa. Mira looked up. Really? How? They eat plants. They're very territorial, Jack explained. If they feel threatened, they attack. They have huge teeth, and they're faster than they look. Mira seemed slightly more interested. Still not as cool as acid spit. Jack laughed. No, I guess not. They worked in silence for a while. Jack noticed that Mira kept glancing at him when she thought he wasn't looking. Finally, she spoke. Can I ask you something? Sure, Jack said. Is it true that humans keep predators in their homes? As pets? Jack smiled. Some do. My family has a dog named Buddy. He's not really a predator, though. He's friendly. But dogs descended from wolves, right? Wolves are predators. Well, yes, Jack admitted. But dogs have been domesticated for thousands of years. Mira shook her head in wonder. Arcturians would never allow dangerous animals near our homes. It's too risky. Jack was about to reply when his tablet beeped. A message appeared from Krell. Found something weird. Meet in our room ASAP. I have to go, Jack told Mira. My roommate needs me. Let's continue tomorrow. Mira nodded. I'll try to find more information about these hippos. Jack hurried back to his room. Inside, Krell, Vella, Dorn, and Xerix were waiting. What's going on? Jack asked. Krell looked excited, all four of his eyes blinking rapidly. I was researching for my project when I found something interesting. Historical records of alien expeditions to Earth. And Jack prompted when Krell paused dramatically. And many of them never returned. Xerix chimed in, his crystal body pulsing with light. Especially expeditions to certain areas of your planet. Vella's screen lit up. Areas with water. Jack frowned. What does this have to do with my project? We found a partially redacted report, Dorn rumbled, about an expedition 300 years ago to a place called Africa. There was a word that kept appearing in the surviving fragments. Hippopotamus, Krell said solemnly. Jack stared at his friends. You think hippos had something to do with aliens disappearing on Earth? It's just a theory, Krell said. But Professor Eyes' reaction to your assignment was strange. There's more, Xerix added. I accessed Professor Eyes' academic record. He was part of the first official contact team with Earth 60 years ago. Before that, he specialized in studying dangerous species. Jack sat down on his bed, trying to process this information. But hippos are just animals. They're not even the most dangerous animals on Earth. Vela's screen displayed. Florian legends speak of great water beasts on the blue planet, devourers of explorers. This is crazy, Jack said. Hippos are dangerous, sure, but they're not monsters. Knowledge is often hidden for a reason, Dorn said mysteriously. Perhaps there's more to these creatures than Earth humans know. Jack shook his head. I don't believe it. Then why not ask Professor Eyes directly? Krell suggested. Watch his reaction when you mention hippos. Jack thought about it. Fine. I'll talk to him after class tomorrow. The next day, Jack stayed behind after comparative biology class. Professor Eyes was organizing specimens at his desk. Professor, Jack said, I had some questions about my research project. Eyes' mandibles clicked rapidly. Of course, Jack. About the hippopotamus, yes. Yes, I've been reading about them. But I feel like I'm missing something important. They seem like ordinary animals to me. Professor Eyes' compound eyes fixed on Jack. Ordinary, he repeated. His voice sounded strained. No Earth creature is ordinary, Jack, especially not the hippopotamus. What do you mean? Jack pressed. Iz glanced around nervously. This is not the place to discuss it. The Academy has restrictions on certain information. Historical incidents involving Earth species are classified. But, Jack began. The virtual library, Iz whispered. Section X9, Historical Archives. Use access code Alpha 7 Delta. Go tonight. Bring your project partner. Then you'll understand. Before Jack could ask more questions, Professor Eyes hurried away, leaving Jack more confused than ever. Jack found Mira after dinner. I need to show you something, he said in a low voice. It's about our project. Mira looked at him with suspicion. What is it? Not here, Jack whispered. Professor Eyes told me to check the virtual library. Section X9. Section X9. Mira's eyes widened. That's a restricted area. Students aren't allowed. He gave me an access code, Jack said. Are you coming or not? Mira hesitated, then nodded. Fine, but if we get caught, I'm blaming you. The virtual library was located in the center of the academy. During the day, it was filled with students, but at night, it was nearly empty. Jack and Mira approached the glowing entrance. Ready? Jack asked. Mira took a deep breath. Let's go. They stepped into the light and found themselves in a vast space, filled with floating shelves of data crystals. A holographic librarian appeared before them. Welcome to the Galactic Academy Virtual Library. How may I assist you? It asked in a soft voice. We need to access Section X9, Jack said. Historical Archives. The librarian's expression turned stern. Section X9 is restricted. Do you have authorization? Jack swallowed hard. Access code Alpha 7 Delta. The librarian froze for a moment, then nodded. Access granted for 2 hours. Please proceed. A path of light appeared on the floor. Jack and Mira followed it to a dark corner of the library. The shelves here were older, covered in a digital dust that sparkled in the air. Search for information about Earth expeditions, Jack told the system. Specifically anything about hippopotamuses. Searching. The system responded. Several data crystals glowed red. Warning. These files contain classified information. Viewing is permitted, but sharing is prohibited. One crystal floated down. Jack touched it, and a holographic screen appeared before them. Expedition Report. Survey of Earth's African continent. Jack read aloud. Date. 276 standard years ago. The report described an alien research team that landed in Africa to study Earth's ecosystem. They set up a base near a river and began observing the local wildlife. "Look at this part," Mira pointed. Day 12. The large water creatures show unusual aggression. The locals call them hippopotamus, meaning river horse. Do not approach. Jack continued reading. Day 14. Lost contact with Team B near the river, sending rescue. Day 15. Rescue team not responding. Witnessed large water creature attacking their vessel. Incredible speed and strength. Preparing emergency evacuation. Day 16. Only 3 of us left. The hippopotamus destroyed our ship. They hunt us now. Warning to all future expeditions. Earth is a death world. The creatures here evolve. The report ended abruptly. "That's it?" Mira asked, her blue skin looking pale in the holographic light. "What happened to them?" "I think we know," Jack said quietly. Another crystal floated down. This one contained video footage. Jack hesitated, then touched it. A grainy holographic video appeared. It showed an alien vessel, shaped like a disc, hovering above a river. The aliens recording were speaking in a language Jack didn't understand, but they sounded excited, pointing at something in the water. The video zoomed in on what looked like logs floating in the river. Suddenly, one of the logs raised its head. It was a hippopotamus. The alien vessel moved closer. The hippo disappeared under the water. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with incredible speed, the hippo burst from the water. Its massive jaws opened wide. It was much faster than Jack had ever imagined a hippo could move. The video shook violently. The aliens screamed. The vessel tilted as the hippo's jaws clamped onto its edge. Water poured in. Then the video cut to static. Jack and Mira stared at the screen in shock. "That's why Professor Eyes acted so strangely," Jack whispered. "Hippos have killed more aliens than any other Earth animal. But they look so peaceful," Mira said, "just floating in the water. That's what makes them dangerous," Jack realized. No one expects it. More crystals began to float down, each containing reports of alien encounters with hippopotamuses. All ended badly. "Jack," Mira said slowly, "I think I understand now. Humans aren't quarantined because you're dangerous. You're quarantined because your planet is." Jack nodded. "And somehow, we evolved there anyway." Mira looked at him with new respect in her eyes. "How do humans survive on a planet with creatures like that?" "That," Jack said, "is a very good question." The day of the presentations arrived. Jack felt nervous as he and Mira prepared their materials in the biology lab. After what they had discovered in the virtual library, their simple project on hippopotamuses had taken on a new meaning. "Are you sure about this?" Mira whispered. "We could get in trouble for accessing classified information." Jack nodded. "We won't mention the library. We'll just present the facts about hippos. The truth should be enough." The classroom filled with students and Professor Eyes called the first pair to present. One by one, the teams showed their research on various alien creatures. Some were impressive predators with multiple heads or deadly venom. Others could fly, breathe fire, or turn invisible. The class oohed and awed at each presentation. Finally, it was Jack and Mira's turn. Next, Jack Miller and Mira Len presenting on the Earth creature known as the hippopotamus. Professor Eyes announced, his compound eyes fixed on Jack, mandibles clicking nervously. Jack took a deep breath and stepped to the front of the room with Mira. She activated the holographic display, showing a peaceful image of a hippo partially submerged in water. "This is the hippopotamus," Jack began, "native to the continent of Africa on Earth. They live in rivers and lakes and eat plants." Some students looked bored already. One yawned loudly. "They appear peaceful," Mira continued, "but appearances can be deceiving." She changed the display to show a hippo's open mouth, revealing its massive teeth. "Hippopotamuses can weigh up to 3,000 kilograms," Jack said. They have skin that is 5 centimeters thick. Their jaws can open 90 degrees wide. He noticed a few students sitting up straighter, paying more attention now. Despite being plant eaters, Mira said, hippos are extremely territorial and aggressive. They kill more humans in Africa than any other large animal. Jack tapped his tablet, changing the display to show a hippo charging through water. They can run at 30 kilometers per hour, faster than most humans. They can stay underwater for 5 minutes. Their bite force is twice as strong as a lion's. A murmur ran through the class. Jack noticed a silver-skinned student in the back change color slightly, fading to a pale gray. Humans have learned to live alongside these creatures, Jack continued. We respect their territory and their power. Mira tapped her tablet, showing video footage of a hippo charging a boat on a river. The boat rocked violently as the hippo rammed it. Several students gasped. This is how hippos defend their territory, Mira explained. They see boats as threats and will attack them. Jack saw Professor eyes shifting uncomfortably at his desk. More students were changing colors now, some turning pale, others darkening. A few had tentacles that were curling tightly in what Jack guessed was anxiety. Most remarkable, Jack said, is their speed in water. Despite weighing as much as a small spaceship, hippos can move with incredible quickness when threatened. Mira played another video clip, this one showing a hippo bursting from the water to chase humans on a riverbank. The hippo moved with surprising speed for such a large animal. A crystal student, similar to Xerix but larger, suddenly shattered into tiny pieces before reforming. Jack realized this must be how their species showed fear. Hippos kill approximately 500 humans each year, Jack said. More than sharks, lions, or any other predator in Africa. The room was dead silent now. Every alien student was staring at the hippo images with new understanding. But humans still live near them, Mira added. Humans fish in their waters, build villages near their habitats, and have done so for thousands of years. In conclusion, Jack said, meeting the eyes of his classmates, the hippopotamus may seem like just a plant-eating river animal, but it is one of the most dangerous creatures on Earth. And yet, humans have adapted to live alongside them. As they finished, Jack noticed something strange. The alien students weren't looking at the hippo images anymore. They were looking at him with expressions of shock, fear, and something else, respect. Professor Eyes cleared his throat. Thank you, Jack and Mira, for that illuminating presentation. I think we all have a new appreciation for Earth's wildlife. As Jack returned to his seat, he saw students moving away from him, creating a small empty space. It wasn't rudeness this time. It was awe. Everything changed for Jack after the presentation. Students who had avoided him now approached with curious questions. Some wanted to know about other Earth animals. Others asked how humans survived in such a dangerous world. Is it true humans keep smaller predators in their homes? Asked a green-skinned student with antenna. You mean dogs and cats? Jack replied. Yes, but they're domesticated. They're friendly. The student's antenna quivered in disbelief. Fascinating. Jack walked to lunch with Krell, Vela, Dorn, and Xerix. They had to push through a crowd of students trying to talk to Jack. You're a celebrity now, Krell said, all 4 eyes blinking in amusement. The human who lives among the devourers. Jack laughed. Hippos don't actually eat people. They're just territorial. That makes it worse, Dorn rumbled. They kill without even needing food. Pure aggression. In the dining hall, Jack was surprised when Mira waved him over to her table. She sat with a group of popular Arcturians who would never have invited Jack to join them before. I saved you a seat, she said, smiling. Her friends looked at Jack with new interest. Thanks, Jack said, sitting down. Tell them about the sharks, Mira prompted. The ones humans swim with. Great whites, Jack asked. Yeah, they're big predators in our oceans. Some humans go diving with them in special cages. An Arcturian boy leaned forward. You willingly enter the water with predators. For what purpose? Jack shrugged. For fun. To learn about them. To take pictures. The aliens exchanged glances of horror and fascination. After lunch, Jack was heading to his next class when Administrator Plex stopped him in the hallway. Mr. Miller, the tall, gray alien said stiffly, Professor Eyes has informed me about your enlightening presentation. We didn't mean to cause trouble, Jack said quickly. We just presented the facts about hippos. Yes, well. Plex looked uncomfortable. The Galactic Council has tried to keep certain information about Earth's fauna classified. But now that it's out, we must adapt. Jack frowned. Why keep it secret? Everyone already thinks Earth is dangerous. There's a difference between thinking humans are unpredictable and knowing they evolved on a death world alongside creatures that have killed more galactic explorers than any space battle. Plex sighed. The Council feared panic if the full truth was known. I'm sorry, Jack said, though he wasn't sure why he was apologizing. Don't be, Plex replied. Perhaps it's time for better understanding between species. The Academy Board is meeting now to discuss changes to the Earth Exchange Program. Jack felt his heart sink. Are they going to cancel it? To his surprise, Plex's thin lips curved into a smile. Quite the opposite. They want to expand it. There's much we can learn from a species that thrives in such conditions. Later that day, Jack received a message to meet Professor Eyes in his office. When he arrived, he found the insect-like professor organizing specimen jars. Jack, Iz greeted him. I wanted to speak with you privately. Am I in trouble? Jack asked. No, no. Iz's mandibles clicked rapidly. I wanted to thank you. For many years, I've argued that the Galactic Council's policy of hiding Earth's true nature was misguided. Your presentation has forced them to reconsider. Jack nodded. Administrator Plex mentioned changes to the exchange program. Yes, Iz confirmed. The Academy will welcome more human students next term. And, he paused dramatically, they're considering a supervised educational safari to Earth. A safari, Jack repeated, to see hippos and other Earth creatures. From a safe distance, of course, with proper safety measures. Iz's compound eyes gleamed with excitement. I volunteered to lead the first expedition. Jack couldn't help but laugh. You want to go back to Earth, even after what happened to those other explorers. Science requires courage, Iz said proudly. Besides, this time we'll have human guides. As Jack left the office, his tablet beeped. A message from Mira. Library in 10 minutes. Need to plan our next project. Jack smiled. He'd gone from being an outsider to having more friends than he could keep up with, and all because of a hippopotamus. On his way to the library, other students nodded respectfully as he passed. One small, furry alien even asked for his autograph. Jack signed the tablet with a laugh. His life at the Galactic Academy would never be the same again. 3 months after the hippopotamus presentation, Jack stood in the Galactic Academy's Grand Arrival Hall. The term was ending, and he watched as a new group of human students stepped off the transport ship. Their eyes were wide with wonder as they took in the alien architecture and diverse species moving through the hall. Remember how scared you looked when you first arrived? Krell asked, standing beside Jack. Just like them. Jack smiled. It feels like years ago, not months. Administrator Plex had appointed Jack as the official welcome guide for the new human students. It was a position that had never existed before. Welcome to the Galactic Academy, Jack said as the 5 human students approached. I'm Jack Miller, your orientation guide. A tall girl with curly red hair stepped forward. I'm Katie. Are you really the guy who freaked out the whole academy with a hippo? Jack laughed. News travels fast. They told us about it during our briefing on Earth, said a boy with glasses. They called you the hippo human. Is that really what they call you here? Sometimes, Jack admitted. Other times, it's the Death World Survivor. The new students looked at each other with confusion and excitement. Come on, Jack said. I'll show you to your rooms and explain everything." As they walked through the academy, alien students nodded respectfully at Jack. Some even bowed. The new humans noticed. "Why are they treating you like that?" Katie whispered. "It's a long story," Jack replied. "But the short version is, Earth is famous in the galaxy, and not for the reasons we thought." Later that day, Jack met Mira in the biology lab. Professor Eyes had appointed them as his research assistants for the upcoming Earth Safari project. "The safari permits just got approved," Mira said excitedly. "Professor Eyes wants us to help plan the route." Jack looked at the holographic map of Earth hovering above the table. Several locations were marked in red. The Serengeti in Africa, the Amazon rainforest, the Great Barrier Reef. All the most dangerous ecosystems, Jack noted. "That's the point," Mira replied. "The students want to see Earth's most famous predators, especially hippos." Jack shook his head in amazement. "I still can't believe hippos are considered scarier than lions or crocodiles." "Statistics don't lie," Mira said. "More alien explorers died from hippo encounters than any other Earth creature." The door opened, and Vela entered. Her screen displayed, "Meeting time. Presentation for Council." Jack had almost forgotten. The Galactic Council had requested a special presentation about human adaptability. As the only human student who had completed a full term at the Academy, Jack was asked to speak. "Wish me luck," Jack said to Mira. She smiled. "You don't need luck. Just be yourself. That's impressive enough for them." In the Grand Council chamber, Jack stood before representatives from 17 different species. Some looked humanoid, others were completely alien in form. All watched him with interest. "Distinguished council members," Jack began, "you asked me to explain what makes humans special. I've thought about this question a lot since coming here." Jack activated his tablet, showing images of Earth, its oceans, mountains, deserts, and jungles. "Many of you think humans are special because we survived on a death world. That we're tough or aggressive or fearless." Jack paused. "But that's not it." He showed new images. Humans caring for injured animals, exploring the ocean depths, climbing mountains, planting gardens. "What makes humans special isn't that we fight the dangerous things on our planet. It's that we learn to live alongside them. We adapt. We observe. We find ways to coexist." The council members murmured among themselves. "Yes, Earth has hippos and sharks and lions. But we also have dogs and cats and horses, predators we've befriended. We don't just survive on our world. We find ways to appreciate it, dangerous parts included." As Jack finished his presentation, the council rose in applause. Even Administrator Plex looked impressed. Jack left the chamber to find his friends waiting. Krell, Vela, Dorn, Xerix, and Mira. Together, they walked to the dining hall, talking about the upcoming Earth Safari and their plans for the next term. Jack smiled to himself. 6 months ago, he had been afraid to leave Earth. Now he couldn't wait to show his alien friends his home planet, hippos and all. One word had changed everything. Hippopotamus.